Aita for not inviting my fiance's ex to our wedding. Throwaway account. I, F26, have been with Henry M, 36, almost 37 for 5 years. We are engaged and currently planning our wedding. A little background, Henry is the youngest child and his mother really wanted a girl. Because of this, Henry grew up feeling despised by his mom, who openly says hurtful things like how he was a disappointment from the start or how she never got the daughter she wanted. Despite this, instead of going no contact with her, Henry's been trying very hard to win her love. Henry had a long-term ex-F, 32, who is very close with his mother. She became the daughter his mother always wanted. However, this ex cheated on him with a coworker and left him. After 2 years, Henry and I met. Eventually, the ex wanted to get back together with him, but he said no and blocked her. Despite this, she and his mother remain best friends. His mother still invites her to family functions, and my fiancé and I just ignore her. His mother doesn't like me and believes I'm the reason she can't have her preferred daughter-in-law. My fiancé has explained many times that he would rather stay single forever than get back with his ex. So even if I didn't exist, he wouldn't be with her. Yesterday, my Mill asked how many guests she could invite to our wedding. I told her that since my parents could invite 8 to 10 people, she could do the same. She thanked me, but an hour later she smiled and said, well, we have 1 yes already, referring to my fiancé's ex. I told her that was very inappropriate since we aren't even friends with her. She responded by saying that it's her guest list and none of my business. Then she said I'm insecure because the ex is the whole package and that I'm just a rebound girl. Henry told his mom to stop and asked her to leave. Once she left, he asked if I could be the bigger person and let her have this, as he really wants his mom to be at the wedding. He suggested that if inviting his ex would keep his mom quiet, we should just ignore her. Am I the asshole for not wanting her there? P.S. We are mostly paying for the wedding ourselves with some help from my dad. Mill hasn't contributed. No advice for OP. NTA, your fiancé is a big ass. If you marry him, this will be your future unless he grows a set. You will be third after his mom and the ex. Is this how you want to live? I suggested therapy regarding his relationship with his mother. He thinks we just have to accept her the way she is. Smart, I tell him that he needs to start that before you get married. If it looks like he still isn't going to grow a spine about his mother, you might need to reaccess if getting married to him is a wise idea. Oh dear girl, please don't marry him. What happens when I'll have kids if that's the plan? She likely won't like them, and if they are boys, she will treat them just as shitty as her own son. Are you going to allow it? Seriously, don't get married, or at least pause the wedding until you both are on the same page about handling his mom. I just texted him that we need to have a talk when you get home. I'm going to cancel the wedding at this point. I'll post an update after my talk with him tonight. I'm going to be honest too. While I think people clutch their pearls too much at age gap sometimes, he was 32 years old when he got with a 21-year-old. You were fresh out of college. He had probably a decade of work experience under his belt, or at least 5 years if he went to med school, law school, etc. That's a big ... life experience gap in some ways. In my experience, dudes who go for someone under 25, when they are grown-ass men, sometimes do that because they think girls that age are easier to manipulate or get them to go along with shit, as in this case, a crazy-ass mother. Now, your current age gap is no biggie. I'm 26 and 36, 37s, but the fact that you've been together for 5 years ... the starting point is what makes me raise an eyebrow. Update 1. Thank you so much for the comments and DMs. I had a calm talk with Henry and explained how I feel disrespected by his mom's words and actions. While I can't control who she associates with, it is very disrespectful that she invites your ex to all the gatherings and that the two of them constantly pick on me. Henry acknowledged this, but said that's just how his mom is. I told him that it's best we cancel the wedding at this point because I want our wedding day to be a happy, memorable occasion, not one filled with drama and stress. I added that his mom is going to ruin this day and that he's just going to accept it as usual, which I can't tolerate. I told him I won't marry him until he sets some boundaries with his mother. This situation is ridiculous. Henry went on about how he can't cut his mom out of his life because she sacrificed so much raising him and his brother as a single mom. But he admitted he doesn't know how to handle her either. I told him I can't make that decision for him, but I'm going no contact with his mom. I suggested that maybe therapy could help him realize how abusive and toxic his relationship with his family is and help him decide what to do with his life. I also said I won't attend any more gatherings. He went quiet for a while. Then he called his mom on speakerphone to tell her that the wedding was canceled. She went on and on, saying he finally did the right thing by dumping that whiny bitch, calling me insecure and controlling and saying it was a miserable relationship. Henry kept interrupting her, saying, Mom, stop, but she didn't care. In the end, he told her, Mom, we are not breaking up. She's here and heard everything. She canceled it, not me, because you kept disrespecting her. His mom screamed, that manipulative little bitch set me up, and started ranting again. Henry then told her that he needs some time to think, and it's best if she gives him some space, then hung up. We barely talked since. He's spending today helping his brother with some renovations, and I'm home alone. Hopefully my next update will be less depressing. Update 2. It's 6 a.m. and I've been crying all night. Sorry for any typos, he broke up with me. He ignored all my texts yesterday. And it was late when I finally texted his brother to ask if he was okay. His brother said, yeah, he left 2 hours ago to give his ex a ride and then come home. I asked. His ex was there, but he didn't reply. When he finally came home, he told me to sit down because we needed to talk. He said, I've thought about our situation and I think we should end it. He said today I hung out with my family and even his mom and ex came over. They all told me that by me going no contact with his mom, it was going to be so awkward and that they'd be stuck in the middle. He said, when you weren't there today, I enjoyed my time with my family. There was no tension and I didn't have to worry about you being upset. I asked him, why did it take you 2 hours to drop off your ex? Did you sleep with her? He told me I was being ridiculous and that he was just talking to her. He accused me of being controlling and insecure and said I'm isolating him from his friends and family. I asked him again, so nothing happened. He danced around it, but eventually admitted we fooled around, but that's it. I told him I couldn't believe what a pathetic, weak man he is letting his mom convince him to ruin everything. And next, he's getting a blowjob from his cheating ex. We ended up arguing and he went to sleep. I cried all night. Today, I'm going to call my dad and ask if I can stay with him. Story 2. I found out that my boyfriend of 2 years is married and has kids. I'm showing myself to his family tomorrow at his church. Throwaway, because I don't want my followers to see this. I'm just so confused right now and need to talk to somebody. I've been seeing this guy, Adam, 32 for 2 years. He's from another town, but visits me on weekends. I never met his family, friends, or been to his town. I know that he works at the church and he takes pride in that. 3 weeks ago, I found out that he's actually married and has 2 kids. I was devastated and in a state of disbelief, but most of all, I was mad, especially after I confirmed this via his wife's social media account. We're still talking, and I haven't broke up with him yet. I planned and decided to show myself to his family on Sunday at his church and let them know that he used me and took advantage. I plan on ending it right there and then. I'm currently in his town staying at a hotel. I'm doing this tomorrow and no one knows except myself. He's still texting me lies thinking that I'm stupid or ignorant. I feel terrible, but something's pushing me to do this. Don't know if it's anger or feeling bad for his wife and kids. I'm not going to lie, I'm worried this might backfire me, but at this point I have nothing to lose. I just feel like I need to get my respect and dignity back after being lied to and fooled for 2 years. Story 3. I just found myself actually preparing for the war that may or may not happen in the foreseen future. It's hard to describe. I'm from Ukraine, Dnipro, about 200 km from the war zone that's already there for 8 years. And we all here kind of used to the Russian-baked shit that's happening in the East. However, now everything seems different. I'm genuinely sure that they'll try to cut the whole country in half. This situation hits something deep inside. I lost all my friends. All I have is my wonderful sister and grumpy mother. I've never been in an actual fight. I'm just a random copywriter who just lives his life, smokes weed, plays bass, doing dojo, and trying to find his second half. Next week, I'm going to join the army and soon I'll be dead or become a murderer in order to protect my wonderful sister and my grumpy mother for no reason. Or maybe not. Edit Sigh, here we go. They're here 3 hours driving from our house. I mean, actual house. Edit 2/2/23/2022. No, I'm not in the army. I decided to join volunteer paramedic courses. Thousands of people here helped me to switch toward this direction as well. Thank you all for such warm words. It's hard to keep your head cold these days, I'm saying. My family shows no will to move from our town, so am I. On Feb 22nd, Russian troops invaded Ukraine from the Eastern Front. After that, we have a lot of reports about pinpoint artillery skirmishes from their side. However, I don't trust anything I see on the web. Hybrid war is based on misinformation, so I have to take this into account. On Feb 23rd, Ukrainian government's planning to legalize firearms and declare a state of emergency. The most hilarious part is that we are still on a visa-free regime with Russia. There's no military response or clashes from the Ukrainian side so far. Is it possible to keep you guys in touch via this thread with editing? Or should I simply make new posts? Or a sub? I've never done such threads before. For those who think that I'm a bot, I will not show any personal credentials to strangers. I'm not 5 years old. Edit Feb 24th, Kyiv, Odessa, Dnipro, Kharkiv are under attack. We put down 2 Russian aircrafts. It's 8 a.m. As at Feb 24th, 11:21 a.m., we put down 4 tanks and 6 aircraft. Russians pushing tanks from south and east. Actual combat begins. Edit Feb 24th, 13:24 p.m. Some say Kherson's fallen. 300,000 citizens large. Dnipro's quiet. Kyiv is under pressure. Odessa is under pressure. Edit Feb 25th, 11:09 a.m. I'm with a volunteer HQ right now. Donated blood already. Filling supplies. Driving people around. Speaking of the war, they're focusing on Kyiv heavily, bombing civilian buildings. Few hospitals were also destroyed. These fucking apes also took Chernobyl's atomic station last night, so we may see the actual apocalypse, which I guess may also touch Europe heavily. Guys from EU, I'd recommend you to refresh your memory in terms of radiation civilian protection instructions. Russia broke so many humanistic laws, it's indescribable. On the south, we have heavy clashes for 16 hours at this point. Kharkiv stands still. Dnipro, my town, extremely mobilized and rushed into hot areas. Edit Feb 28th, I'm volunteering 24/7, constantly rushing between shelters and buying medicine for wounded. Thank God for cryptocurrency, depression and sleep deprivation. We'll go on trenches tomorrow. I'm on territorial defense waiting list. Enormous number of volunteers. Russians bombing citizens, 15 dead children so far. Today, each Ukrainian is brother and sister. A lot of traitors and high command special forces working on them pretty rough. I have no energy, 2 days without sleep on CrossFit regime. Fuck war. They switched towards airstrikes and artillery today, mainly citizens. Because we're fucking grinding them on land clashes. Edit March 06, I was preparing for the war. But how can one be prepared for genocide and nuclear terror? Thousands of civilians are slaughtered like livestock. I'm focusing on wounded in local hospital. Can you imagine the ambient sound of Bosch's triptych? This is life right now. It's fucking hell. Thank you all. If nuking Ukraine means save people from Europe and the US, guess it's a fair price. The West will not join the war. It's clear by now. We are alone here. Edit March 23rd, things are sort of getting stabilized. We're slowly surrounding and boiling them in Kiev skirts. Mariupol is a tragedy. Can't say, but civilian casualties may be up to 10,000 there. Google Mizintsev, the sick fuck is responsible for civil bombardment orders, as well as raping, looting, kidnapping, deporting civilians from Mariupol to fucking gulags. My town is under daily bombardments for 6 days. They're launching rockets from Crimea and Caspian Sea. Yesterday, they dropped something big, as the report says 2 Ural size combined. That was loud. I left Territorial Defense Forces because we're basically protecting guys who protect a tree. Waste of time, money, and resources. No trainings, mainly because it's too many of us wasting time. Now, I'm personally focused on vests and helmet manufacturing. It's not possible to get this stuff from Europe and Ukraine. We're out of stock since day 2, so we said, fuck it, we'll make our own. So we get 150 tons of armored steel. Already made 1,000 good vests with dampers and plate carriers, I'm saying. A good friend of mine, he's drummer. We've played together for years. He lost his mother, 7-year-old sister, lost her arm and leg, father in coma. That was phosphorus bomb, sheltered it and helped. Story 4. I hired a male sex worker for 2 hours just to hug me and hold me, and I gave him flashcards of what to say to me. I'm a 22-year-old female. I'm introverted. I had one boyfriend who cheated on me 8 months ago, and since then found it incredibly difficult to socialize. Not that many people made an effort. I'm simple. I don't have social media. I have a few friends, but they don't really speak to me much. I'm average looking. Pretty insecure since my breakup. Aim in college and on weekends work a 12-hour shift at a fast food restaurant to make ends meet. I don't know, I felt really lonely, so I knew of a guy who works with me who told me his friend is doing sex work. I found him on Facebook and he told me how much he charged. Also asked me a bunch of questions about my sexual health. I never planned on sleeping with him. I just didn't want him to find me weird. Anyway, we met at a hotel. I told him I didn't want to have sex. I just wanted to be held and given words of affirmation and care. He agreed and I paid him. I gave him flashcards. They all said things like, I'm proud of you. You're doing so well. You're strong. Did you eat? Are you okay? I know you can do it. It's CC, etc. And he just held me until our hours was up and then I bolted and I feel so ashamed and had to tell someone. But I don't speak to anyone, so here I am. Edit. Thank you all for the kindest words and making me feel better and less ashamed. Yes, that's me immediately upvoting. I'm not good with words, so please know I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you so much. Story 5. I think my dad might have killed someone when I was a kid. One night, when I 36F was about 8 or 9 years old, mid-90s, my father took my little brother and I to Blockbuster to pick out movies. We left there, my dad stopped at a corner store for some snacks, and he parked on the side of the building. He left me and my brother in the car while he ran in. On his way out, a man came up behind him and held something to his side. My dad pretended he was going to hand the man his wallet, but he instead elbowed the man in his face and he fell to the ground. The guy got up and came at my dad with a knife, and my dad fought it away from him and stabbed him with it. It was long and that shit went all the way in. The guy let out this horrible groan. I can still hear it. He left the guy on the floor writhing, hopped in the car and took off. For so many years, I thought this was a dream until my little brother mentioned it to me when asking if I remembered. We've never brought this up to my father ever. I've always wondered what happened to that guy, but this was way before cell phones and stuff, so who knows? It's crazy the weight that comes off of someone when they say things they've always been holding in. Story 6. My son has significant disabilities, and I hate that this is my life. Before I begin, you should know that I love my child unconditionally. He is so smart in his own way and has a generous heart. I know this. But I also sometimes, a lot of the time, hate that this is my life. I hate the looks we get. When someone asks him a question, then awkwardly realizes he can't respond. When he has a major hysterical meltdown in a store and I have to sing and rock him on the floor until he calms down. When other kids realize he isn't as normal as he looks. I hate that he will probably never have a real friend. That I will have to fight for him to be included in everything. That his birthday parties will likely be adults family only. I hate not being able to go to church without making sure they have an adult with training to be with him. I hate how hard it is to find adults to be with him, and that I have to be the one to train them. I hate that he will be my only child. I don't know that I can handle a second child with disabilities, and it's not fair to him if we bring a neurotypical child into the mix. It's not fair to the other child either. I hate that he has to be watched 24/7. I never get anything done because I am exhausted from keeping him safe while trying to give him room to grow and learn. I hate the appointments, the juggling of specialists and primary care doctors, and trying to remember who needs to be told what. I hate having to sign a cajillion disclosures to share information, and I hate that even my husband has to ask me what all kiddo is going on. I hate that he hurts me. Yes, I understand the reasons, trauma and development and delayed attachment and frustration, but I hate that my baby boy, my darling child, regularly kicks and hits and bites and scratches me. I hate saying kind hands, please. I hate how much I rely on his tablet to occupy him. I hate when people say it's just a phase. Or all boys' kids do that. It's not true, and they know it. But no one is comfortable enough to say, that sounds like it sucks, which is what I really want. I hate that being away from him takes so much planning and money that we can't hire just anyone to watch him. It has to be an adult with training, or a respite provider, which is impossible to get, or a rare, understanding friend, or my husband. Most of all, I hate that I hate any part of being his mommy, because I always wanted to be a mom. And when we found out we couldn't have biological children, I was so happy my husband agreed to adopt. I knew it would be hard. I knew it meant raising a child with disabilities and trauma. And I worked my ass off to prepare for it. But here I am, on Reddit, telling however many strangers that I hate being a mom to a child with disabilities, because there is nowhere else I can go and be this raw and open about it. And I hate that our society is the kind of place where parents like me can't be raw and open. Because I already know some of you are judging me or calling me a snowflake or passing by this post because this sliver of my reality is too much for you to bear on top of your own stuff. But I had to say it. Had to let it out because it's too hard to carry around on top of all the other shit I have to carry every single day. Story 7. I am secretly my boyfriend's live stream viewers. My boyfriend has just started streaming and he seems pretty excited about it. He didn't buy a whole setup yet, but live streams whenever he is on. I stream briefly and know how hard it is to get viewers. I open multiple private browsers on my personal laptop, work laptop, and phone. This way I can have his stream going and it counts as multiple viewers. When he saw 4, he was stoked. It's only 4 viewers, but he was so happy. There's very little in this world right now that can cause that genuine happiness and expression. I sit on the other side of the couch with the volume down on all devices and just pretend I'm doing schoolwork. Edit. Wow. I appreciate the kind comments. I haven't shared his link because the purpose of this post was to get something off my chest and not farm subs. I believe he is capable of it on his own. It's just to keep him motivated, and I have already shared with friends, family. I also don't want him to find out. He plays Warzone Vanguard. Perhaps you'll come across his stream in the future. He streams on Twitch. I give him 4 viewers, not 1,000. This is something I've literally done for the last 2 weeks. Do not tell me I have copied and pasted. I have no reason. Also, thank you for the awards. I'm fairly new to Reddit, and I enjoy this community. Story 8. I slept with my girlfriend's mom 2 years ago. I can't tell her because I know she'll dump me and it'll probably end her parents' marriage. So let me first just say, I'm not the one in the wrong for this, but I have to say it somewhere. It's eating me alive. 2 years ago, when I was 19, I met this woman while I was working as a personal trainer. She was in her 40s and looked like a 25-year-old. She took an interest in me and invited me out a number of times, and we had sex a few times. After one of our meetups, she said it was wrong for someone of her age to be with me because I was too young and changed gyms. My girlfriend and I have been together for just under a year. She's amazing and I love her so much. 2 months ago, I met her family for the first time, and it was a shock. Like, she took me to the house where I had hooked up with a woman, and I felt like I was being pranked. Before I see her mom, it hits me. I have a type, and they both fit that type, so it makes sense. I've been hooking up with a single mom, and I'm now with her daughter. Then her mom and dad pop out, and we both almost shit ourselves. I meet her parents. They've been married for 20 years. I realize I have been a married woman's boy toy. I feel incredibly ashamed. Later that week, her mom finds my number and tells me that I can never speak of what happened. She says that my girlfriend will hate me forever because I'll be the one who broke up her parents. So now I'm stuck keeping this secret. She invited me to spend Thanksgiving and with her family, and since my family is 1,000 miles away and I already told her I don't plan on going home, I don't really have an excuse to not go. So now I'm going to have to sit there at a table and enjoy Thanksgiving dinner with the woman I had an affair with, her husband, and her daughter whom I am now in love with. I'm F.